the spiritual healer, coming in to do my daily card. It's not morning. It should be morning that I do these, but it's afternoon. Uh, Sharing each and every day one of the cards from my new deck in order from 0 to 45. So 45 days straight, you get to see my face in here, which is not something that I always do. You don't see me live every day often, but I will be in here live until we get through. Well, I'll be in here a lot more. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm up, and I can't seem to see me on my page. So if someone can let me know, I should be on YouTube and on Facebook at the same time. Oh, here we go. I should be on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. I'm broadcasting on Be Live TV. Oh, I just lost my card of the day. Lost it in the deck. So the reason why we don't shuffle these through and search for a card, like a certain card, is because we are showing one specific card. Each and every card is brand new. They have not been introduced to the world yet. They are still in creation. I'm writing the book to go with every single card. Getting close to finished. I just got to transfer it over. Hi. Hello, Paula and Isabel. Paula, I was just watching beautiful little Avery. I'm like my new little superhero that I'm addicted to watching. And so it's a funny thing. 2 of my good friends are in here so far. I have a few really close friends who are in here every single day. But the card that comes up as our first card. And Isabel, hi from Penticton. Thank you for being here. And so our card today is Sisterhood. So this is our card of the day, Sisterhood. And so I'm going to bring it up. I just never opened up the whole file yet. So I want to bring up my new. Hold on. So if you're new and you're watching, what I'm doing is every day I'm pulling a card from my Oracle deck of cards. So what you're seeing is every day you're seeing one card. These are the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. I'll show you what I'm talking about in 2 seconds. Just let me get the card here. Because when you see it on screen, it's just got so much more to it. So this is our card of the day, and I'm just going to shrink it for a moment. So behind on my wall, you can see the box cover. That is the Everyday Goddess Oracle. It's about, the beauty that's still there when we believe it's not. When we've been through our best and our worst, and we, even on our lowest days and our lowest moments are often our most defining, and rising above, rising through our hurts, through our struggles, through our misery, through our beyond our shadow self. When we're done nurturing the fears and insecurities of everyone else, and we choose to live for us, and we choose to be that beautiful self. So just like the shirt says, kind people are my kind of people. Well, one of the big things is you got to learn that same thing. If you say you're a kind person, you also have to be kind to you, and you also have to be kind to even the people that don't even have the same belief system. So if you were in here yesterday, you would have seen yesterday me kind of finally stand up for myself. Every day we get a spammer. Every day in here, there's always the spammers that come in here. It's constant. And so, right. And so, yeah, the back of the cards, I have that as well. And so this is the back of the cards. Now, this was the original back, and now this is the new back of the cards. And so that's the most beautiful part of it's not the most beautiful. It was the most beautiful part to see the back of the cards come to life. That is what we're talking about creating a door on the back of the cards. Well, that's a door. It's a portal. It is the door of us being able to, open up the door to our new lives, to new possibilities. And I keep, I write about in my newest book, The Way. I said, I write about, it's when you stop saying it's an end and it's done. It's like, I don't, when you're walking, when someone says, don't walk away from me, but they're yelling, they're screaming, you're not walking away from them, you're walking towards you. So don't look at endings always as letting something end as like, oh, that's the end of everything. No, when you make a choice to end something, to let something be done, it's a new journey towards walking towards you. And this back of the cards is the door of opportunity. Is when one door closes, say thank you, and just patiently just allow and wait. And if you just have faith and trust, another door opens. But yesterday in here, not on live, it was after I was just about to go and teach my course that, my program More Than Existing, which is based on the book that is written and published by me, is truly about helping women empower, transform themselves, to be able to see themselves as worthy, to really catch the words that we use to speak about ourselves, taking ownership and responsibility for our lives, stepping up, and just living the beautiful life. Well, I was on my way to teach this course, and all of a sudden I get this man who all of a sudden decides that it's a good day to make me the target of his shitty ass day. And he was supposed to be a man that calls himself a good man of faith. And so I'm like, how come you're a good man of faith as long as it's only to people who are in alignment to your belief system? All the rest of us are dirt underneath your feet, type of thing. And I'm like, and so his comments made me finally have to take a stand. And I wasn't taking a stand for me personally, because it's not how much it was taking a stand for everyone who comes in here, who courageously finds their voice, who courageously says, I'm falling apart. I am crumbling. I can't do this alone. I need love. I need support, and has the courage to reach out, to know that we need to be able to help each other and support each other. And then somebody who is, claiming to be this good person. And he's a real estate agent who owns a real estate agency company down by Calgary somewhere. And he said, oh, great. All we need is more witches and da da da. And so he started to spiel off on it. And I'm like, it's a funny thing, because if you didn't know this about a woman, how many witches have you taken money from in buying and selling them houses? You have no problem putting your hand out to take from those same people. But when you get the opportunity to reflect what you feel about yourself out on the rest of us, you try to lay that out. And I'm like, that's a part of this cards. And that's exactly what I was talking about. It's truly about the day that you stop being the emotional punching bag for the world, for the people around you, and you make a choice to choose. I know my whys. I know why I'm here. I know why I create these cards. I know why I wrote this book and why I wrote many other books. And I know why I am a business owner, and I'm a woman who is standing tall in my light and recognizing who I am, because I've had 50 years upon this earth. I know what it's like to be on all sides. I know what it's like to be down on my knees and be down and out. And I know what it's like to be in so much pain that you can hardly stand up. You know what's gotten me here? Faith. And so he questioning me and my relationship with God, my relationship with, and when I said, I've been in a personal relationship with God since the day I arrived. Well, every single one of us have. Whatever God means to you. And that's the difference between me and him. I don't judge what somebody else's version of faith is. What you believe in that leads you to live a good life, to be a good human being, yay to you. Because as long as we're all being good and kind human beings, we have dignity for humanity, and we show each other respect to, places where we earn it. And so, when you can show each other at least compassion and just know that you have the right to make boundaries, he don't have to like me. But what was his motive for having to come into my page and spiel out his shit? Right. And so those things, right. Yeah. A witch is a great person. I got people who are Christian witches. I got Christian friends. I have witch friends. I have Wiccans. I have atheists. I have everybody, even in my programs. I have those. I don't judge people. And that's the difference. And so when you recognize, I've judged myself more than I've ever judged anyone else in my life. And when you recognize that and you see that. So this is the Divine Feminine card today. And I'm leaving the maiden, the mother, and the crone symbol up today. And that portal door, that's the portal to your heart and behind your heart. And you can put a face on for the world and you can wear a mask and you can let the world believe that you're a good person, but turn that shirt inside out and let yourself see just how good you are. Because if you're a keyboard warrior and you're out there bullying the world, but you're going to tell your same children or your grandchildren or whatever, oh, let's just be good people. But you're the one who's doing it. Wear your shirt inside out because it's you that you have to take a good look at. So this card, the back of the card, thank you, Tracy, because the back of the card is staying up today so that you can fully see, so that the world can fully see that all of this is a part of me. All of this is a part of the beautiful world that I get to live in. Magic and miracles happen when you take action steps towards to living the best life that you can be, to shine in your light, to not hide who you are, to not feel like you have to be. If somebody's offended by me, they're offended by themselves. They're judging their own self. That's judgment up on them, not up on me. So if I'm giving you that reflection today, go home and look in the mirror and say thank you to me later when you have to recognize the places that you do that. So that's why this portal card is staying up today. Our other card is 22. So hello, everybody. I don't have a full hour again today because I have a nail appointment. I haven't had them done in like 5 weeks and they're like falling off here. And so I've been working all day. I've been with clients and I have to teach again tonight. So my days are busy. But our card is divine feminine. It is sisterhood, brotherhood. In sisterhood, there is brotherhood. It is about what brings us together for the highest good and to know that we are here to, to join together, to be support for each other, that we will be a much better place when we understand what like beyond the definition of words such as love, such as compassion, go deeper. Go deeper. When you say, oh, I love everybody, but everybody is a very selective, right? It's like, I love everybody who agrees with me. I love everybody who thinks the same way as me. And I'm not saying that you have to be in love with everybody, but have a level of compassion for that we all have a different way of seeing things. We have a different way of living. If you loved your neighbor, if you loved your neighbor and you were good friends, and then all of a sudden you just found out that you had a different belief system, and then all of a sudden you hate them, how shallow is that of you, right? And so that's how quickly we change our minds from one story to the next. So this beautiful card is, see, there's 3 women here. And it's, it's 22, but it's also the power of 3 and 2, 2, 2, 2. And so we also have, it equals up to a 5. We are all the same, men and women, exactly. And every single human being has a feminine side and a masculine side. Everyone, right? It's like that doesn't change. It's like you all have a feminine and a masculine side. And that's how we are. And so, and we're all the same. We're all just human beings. And we are all the same. We have uniqueness about us. We have qualities that make us different from each other in our personality, in our personas that we create. But we all bleed the same. We are all the same. And so in my group, I've often had one man. So, we don't shut our doors on men. It's mainly women, but we don't shut our door. And so there's often men that are in there. And so it's such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful experience and how it changes the dynamics. And I always say, yay to the one man who's courageous enough and come and hang out with us women. It's hard to get men to come into these groups sometimes, but I love it when they do. And so this card, if you can see, you see the shadows. So you see the darkness of the card. You see that shadow part and you see this like kind of face. And we all have that, we all have that side of us that is not so, we have our not so pretty moments. We all have those moments when we want to be, when we get so caught up in what when we get so caught up in being an activist towards the thing that we want the most in life, that we forget about our light and we start to allow our angers, our not so pretty side to come out, put it that way. And when you're in your true healthy self, in a group and a friends, it's like you wait for that friend to come back. You just know that, what, they're going through a spurt. There's something happening. We don't just shut each other out. We love, we support. And the most powerful thing in this divine feminine card, the most powerful thing is the little fish in a cup. And that little speck of us, so that little bit of the orangey light that we have, that little bit of that goldeny orangey light, and that also connects us to Metatron energy as well. But it's also about, the ocean is a big place. It's a very big place. And so the ocean is large and there's many species in there. And there's things in that ocean that we have never discovered yet. There's things that are so deep down, and it's amazing what happens, how they transform when some of these species live farther down, and as they evolve into their darkness, they adapt to their darkness, or they adapt to the cold, and how they start to change. So when you are in an unhealthy relationship, when you're living life not to your true self, that you don't realize how much you start to adapt to the environment. So if you're in a relationship and it's like, and and your soft side is, your gentleness becomes cold and it becomes hard, we start to believe that to be our truth, that that's truly who we are. And we believe it. We hold on to that because it happens slowly over time. It's like being in a narcissistic relationship, and you start to believe that you are the problem. I'm the problem. I cause all the problems. And you don't realize that you start to adapt to you adapt to the personalities that you're around. I know from working in a salon for all the years, I used to say when one would get pregnant, I'm like, oh, and here we go. Everyone who's thinking about having children will all get pregnant around the same time. When everyone gets their period, it's like all the women would all get their periods around. We fall in sync, right? You start to adapt to. And so in a relationship, you don't realize how you start to adapt to your environment. So if you're always being picked on, if you're always being mistreated, you start to get harder. You start to be more guarded. You start to lose the pieces of you. And it happens so slow and so gradual that you don't realize what is happening. Before you know it, you're wondering where you went. Before you know it, you are so far away from yourself. You're so far away from home. And that's why my book is called The Way. That's why the first book is called More Than Existing. It's like, I'm done. I'm done just existing. I was so far away from home, so far away from me, that I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was so busy trying to be everything for everybody else that I didn't even realize that I had become cold, that I had become disconnected, that I stopped being connected to friends. I was shutting myself off from the world. I was getting angry. Angry words were coming over my lips. I wasn't speaking a real truth for me. And so you really start to lose yourself, and you really do. And so you don't know what slow process when you're trapped in a situation, when you're trapped in, and your emotional connections, your story. So you start to believe what somebody else would even say about you, and you believe it to be true. You create that reality. So we create that, and we evolve, and we become that, until you decide one day that, oh, I can swim higher. I can fly higher. You start to see that speck of light. You get a glimpse, or somebody just keeps saying to you, hey, I see you. Hey, you're such a good person. And you think that's nothing. You think it's all just passing, but you start to question yourself. You start to question yourself. I used to be, I used to be a happy person. I used to be easygoing. What happened to me? Where did I go? And we can't blame it on somebody else. It's like what we keep allowing. As a child, it's the responsibility of the people who are supposed to be caring for us. As an adult, it's the choices we choose. Because in this book, I write a whole chapter about the narcissist in me, and that we all have that narcissistic tendency. So through the eyes of everyone, you see you. So even through the eyes of those who are being more narcissistic, and I can't diagnose someone who's narcissistic. That's not mine to do, but we all have that tendency, right? And so that desire to want to continue to stay holding on to somebody, believing that I can fix them, believing that you can change them, that you can make that change for people, that you want that relationship so bad, and you want things to work so bad, that you make the choice to stay. You are the one who keeps compromising your happiness, the happiness of your surroundings, whatever it may be, to try to make that work. And that's what I write about the narcissist in me, right? Is that what you keep trying to do, what you keep holding on to, whether it's the most unhealthiest job, and we call it stubbornness. We call it like, oh, I'm too stubborn. I don't give up that easily. I'm too stubborn. No, but you continue to choose to let yourself stay in misery, right? And so those choices that we make, those choices, and then when we finally come home, the one thing that I can tell you is that your dearest your dearest, most loyal to you because you're not being loyal to you, but there's people still there. And they're like the angels on earth to you. Those friends who are there waiting for you to come home, waiting for you to find yourself, waiting for you. So they tried to give you advice or they try to help because that's what friends do. I would say life coaches are not your friends. We make you question yourself, whereas friends keep saying, "Are you dumb? What are you doing? Are you stupid? Get the hell out of there." You know, friends love to give advice. Life coaches love to question. That's the difference. And so and so when you start to really go into that deeper, that the love is still there, and you keep saying, "Oh, I'm not loved." No, you're not loving yourself. No, you're not being kind to you. You're being kind to everyone else, and everything that you keep saying you're trying to force into your life, you're not being kind to you. The day you decide, it don't mean that everything is going to change overnight. When you make the decision and you make that choice, everything starts to change because it is an action step towards you. You are now starting to walk towards you. You're walking towards your heart. You're walking towards what's going to bring you full happiness and joy. When everything in your life, when everyone else around you is paying the price for your choice to want to stay in that misery story, it is time to take a good look. And so the divine feminine, when you do come through, when you make it through, when you get up off your knees, when you can crawl back up on that chair, they're not there to say, "Listen, I told you so," and beat you up. They're like, "Girl, go wash your face. Put your face back on, get dressed. Let's go have a coffee. Let's go have a glass of wine." Whether it's boys do the same thing. Men go through the same thing as well. But most times, men don't have the courage to reach out. Men feel like they have nowhere to go because a lot of times they don't have somewhere to go. And that's the truth. And so now we're opening up that space. And so my own personal journey with this and me being on the floor, even in this office right here, curled up in a little ball on the floor and crawling up to my chair, you know what was standing up waiting for me? Was that light. The same light that that man judged me for yesterday was the light of the Lord Jesus Christ standing there. And you can give it whatever you want. It's the bright white light. It's the light of source. But it was a reflection that said, "Look at me. Through me, you should see you. You should see." And that's how you walk in grace. That's how you return to grace, is that you start to see yourself through the light of the source, that I possibly can be this person. I possibly have this inside of me. I am this person. She's still there. That light didn't go. It never leaves. And so the light inside of your friends that are that are there for you, the light that's inside of everyone that you admire, that's in you. You just have to have faith and start to believe that in you. And I always say, listen, if you had the courage to stay in the middle of a storm, if you stayed in the middle of a storm and you survived it, then don't ever tell me you don't have courage and strength, because that's not true. You have courage and strength that you don't know you have, because if you were courageous enough to stay in the middle of something so tumultuous and so much trouble, and you were still standing and you were still standing in there and you're still standing at the end, you have something that you're not looking at. You're using everything else to say, "I don't have it," so that you can, so that you can stay a victim to your story. You don't want to stay a victim to the circumstances. We want to be the hero of our own journey. And so when no one can save you. We save ourselves. When you make the choice, it's amazing what happens. But when you make the choice, there is a sisterhood, a brotherhood, there's family, there's always somebody there. And you can convince yourself all you want that nobody's there for me, I have nobody. That's not a truth. When we drive everyone else away because we don't want to have to make the changes, that's what drives us away. So when that little fish gets out of that glass, out of the fact that it's trapped, it's not, there's water. That fish can get out. And so when you keep telling yourself, "I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck," and you believe that to be true, you'll always be stuck. You will always be stuck. The moment you say that there is a way, there is a way. I don't know the way yet, but there is a way. I'm going to find the way. I'm going to start walking towards me. I'm going to start walking towards my life. There is a way. And when you find the way, when you start to walk the way, you start to notice the things that you start to remember are the most virtuous things about you, the most beautiful things. You want peace and contentment? You can't stay in the war. You can't stay fighting. You have to make peace with all that you have been through, make peace with what you cannot change, accept you, and then start to reject the things that you cannot change. I can't do this. That's not for me. And this is what's possible. I can't change that, but I can do this for me. And that's where we begin that change. That's when the changes start to happen. And I hope that really resonates with you. You were looking at the fish, Lisa? I know, right? We added that fish kind of last minute, and we were looking at the card, and I'm like, it needs a fish. And of course, the card has many meanings. So what does this card represent for you today? What do you feel from this card? What are you getting from this Divine Feminine card? And there's such flow, there's such diversity, there's such love, there's such beautiful energy in here. And no matter how much the shadow tries to come in, it can't take over the picture. Everything else is like it's pushing it back. She's holding it up until you're done holding up the shadow, supporting the bad behavior of others. Until you're done, your arms will eventually get tired. You will eventually get tired, and you will have to let go. And if you just let go, all of that beautiful flow the water will wash that away. And that's the truth. And I can tell you, because I've lived it. These cards, these pictures, they're all a story of me. They're the story of my journey. And so when someone comes in to shit on my parade, when I'm speaking my truth, because finally I make a choice, almost 50 years old, that I finally know that, it's okay that I'm me, then, this is these cards. So, right. Isn't that card beautiful? And these are all painted by the amazing Amelia Richard. Like, these are hand painted by her. And she's only young. She's only 25, 25, right? She's 25. And so she's seen my vision. I sketch it, and trust me, my sketches would not be on the cards, but I sketch it. I channel through that message, and then she gives it color. She brings it to life, and I don't change her work because she's also creating. So why would I change creation? It is perfect the way it is. And so they're perfect. They're perfectly imperfect. We just wanted them to be real. And so they're very real cards. And these are from the Shadow series. They're part of my shadow work that I do. They're part of all that. So yes, a lot of Metatron energy. There's a lot of Metatron energy around today, friends. So hurt by people, right? And so people hurt us, but what do we allow? And it's like, we're only hurt because we want to be hurt. It's like when you don't let it take ownership of you, don't let it take ownership. It's not worth letting it take ownership. Trust me, I've been there. Oh, thanks, Cece. Yes, Raina, exactly. You do have that inside of you. Yes, it is. It is hump day, isn't it? I see the woman, Raina. I see the women saying, I'm still standing, raising our hands in glory. Yes, exactly, right? Our personal energy in the building of our own cards. Yes, exactly, right? And that's actually in one of the cards in here, is that we have our diamond effect card, and it's like we all get handed a deck. We all get handed life. And it's like, are you playing? Are you playing and risking it all the time, and playing just to win, just to get to an end, just to be the best, or are you playing to enjoy? Are you playing to enjoy the journey? Are you absorbing and learning and growing as you're going? What are you learning from each and every experience? What are you getting from each experience? And that's a huge, huge part of the journey. So for those of you who are, really truly there, and are ready to turn that anger and those things to a voice of love, we have More Than Existing. If you have not yet read my book, it is on Amazon.ca.com, Balboa Press, Barnes and Noble. Like, there's so many places that you can get this book, and it is about taking ownership and responsibility for your life. I said, when I was ready to take that crown of thorns and hand over my suffering was the day that I was ready to take myself off the cross. Stop punishing myself. Stop being hard on myself. And there's a few women in here today that have known me since I was young. They know me in my 20s. They know me in my younger years. They know the journey. And you know, we've come a long way, but we're not who we used to be. And we can't go back to who we used to be. Be the best of who you are today. And even if this is probably your shitty day, know that this moment is right here is an opportunity. I'm going to just push my door open a little bit, just so I can start to see the light, so I can start to feel the light, and to just trust your journey. Yes. Yes. And so if you go to my website, Cece, I don't know why my little banner, well, I guess it's a good thing, because if the banner was up, we wouldn't see. But I usually have a little banner across the bottom that says all that information, but it's not coming up. I got to contact Be Live and see what's happening. But yeah, you can get it on amazon.ca.com, but all the information is also on my website. My website is full of amazing stuff. It also has all my blogs on there. We have a sign up for that. That's not up yet. It's in the process, but we're putting up a sign up so that you'll know when these will start pre-selling. We're also editing. Poor Lisa. Lisa Richard is like editing. She's the dear friend, and she's a big part owner, partner of the Corey School of Magic. And she's also the editor. So she's editing my second book, which is Beyond a Reflection. She's editing Wine and Chips. And then we have another book that's written called You Can't Make This Shit Up. And then now I'm just finishing up the last little bit on The Way. So they all got to get edited before they can come out. But we're hoping to be able to get some of these books also into publishing very soon as well. So thank you for being here with me. I know this is a short one today. This is the only week that I'm really crazy busy with clients. I don't take as many individual sessions as I used to, because I have so many other things. But I'll be back in tomorrow sometime. And I will see you all then. And hopefully I'll have more time to come hang out with you guys. So thank you for being here every day. Thank you for showing up. Much, much love. Bye-bye.